Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics/Non-Classics. This is episode 955 and double shot number 848. I have two DC trades. Both of them basically deal with the supernatural side of DC Comics. First up, it is Swamp Thing Volume 2 Family Tree. Yep. Does if you're curious though, when did I review Volume 1? I looked it up. Apparently I reviewed it 5 years ago. In my 51st episode. So yeah, it takes me almost 900 episodes. It takes me a little over 900 episodes to finally review another Swamp Thing trade. But I have reviewed trades that feature Swamp Thing. Yes. This collects issues 0, 8 through 11, and it's Swamp Thing Annual. This is from Volume 5. This was from 2011 to 2015, lasting about 4 years. The stuff in here is meant to set up Rot World, a very critically acclaimed story that a lot of people love, though the thing is, after that story wrapped up, Scott Snyder himself left the book. Yeah, he's the writer of these issues with Yannick Parikh. I actually met the guy, he's a very nice person. He actually is the artist of these issues, and I think he's the only artist in these issues. No, he's actually one of several. You have Marco Rudy, Francisco Fragovia, Kano, Becky Cohen, Andrew Belicher, and Carl Kiechler. The cover art in here is done by Yannick Parikh and Nathan Fireblern. I think it's pronounced the guy's name. Yep. These issues, like I said, just set up Rot World. Yeah, they pretty much basically tease Rot World. Of course, at the end of the story, the last issue in here basically has Rot World in there. Yep. And thinking, does issue 0 basically explain the backstory of Swamp Thing? Like a lot of the other issue 0s? Not really, no. Like, generally that's what they do, but this one does not do that. Nope, I think it just explains the backstory of, I have look up here. I don't think it does. Yep. No, it just basically Swamp Thing's first meeting with Anton Arcane, who's actually in these issues, by the way. Yeah, it also deals with the first time that Swamp Thing met Abigail Arcane, well, in this continuity anyways, despite the fact it was clearly established at the start of this particular run that pretty much the entirety of Swamp Thing's history is still canon. But it's a minor contradiction. But this is still really good. You give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I love Swamp Thing. Next up is another book that does feature Swamp Thing, but it's not a Swamp Thing trade. This is actually the first time I've reviewed any trade from this character. Well, actually, no. I have reviewed, basically, stuff from this character before. Yes. John Constantine. Let's see if I can spell his name properly. Okay, the last time I reviewed this thing was, the last trade I reviewed was, I have reviewed the entirety of the second John Constantine ongoing series, Constantine. It was a 24 ongoing. I basically reviewed it over the course of 2 episodes that came out just a few years ago. Yeah, the first one I reviewed the first 2 trades, and the second one I reviewed the 3rd and 4th volume of the series. Yep. That was roughly 3 years ago. This, of course, is his 4th and, to my knowledge, the last John Constantine series to be released, The Hellblazer. Yep. Now, I have not reviewed the 3rd John Constantine series, Constantine The Hellblazer, which was lasting 13 issues, and it was written by James Tynion. I did talk to him a little bit about that particular series, and yes, there was some disagreement basically over Dark Universe, so any ideas that he had for the Dark Universe book, which basically was supposed to replace, just like it was folded into Constantine Hellblazer. This, of course, is its replacement. Now, the only reason why it's called The Hellblazer, because Hellblazer, the original ongoing series, the first one featuring John Constantine, was basically a big success for him. And this was launched roughly in 2016 and ended just last year, publishing for 2 years. Yeah, and it pretty much lasted. It was actually longer than the previous series, and it was actually 1 issue longer than the last series. Now, this contains the first 6 issues of this ongoing series, plus the Rebirth special. There are two things about the storyline that's printed here, which is called The Poison Truth. Now, in the Hellblazer Rebirth special, it features it features the character of Shazam, aka DC's Captain Marvel, appearing for 2 pages. And then here's the weird thing about this. This character does not make an appearance for 2 years. It wasn't until late last year, basically back in December of last year, when he finally made a return in the Shazam ongoing series done by Jeff Johns and Dale Angersam, who's the artist of the book. Yeah, for 2 years, he was absent. As far as I know, there was no explained reason for this at all. I've never met Simon Oliver, so there's no real reason why he was absent. And also, there's no real reason why he was off the main Justice League book. Yes, it's one of the most weirdest things. Now, the storyline was advertised as a team between John Constantine and Swamp Thing. Guess what? That is a big fat lie. They do not team up at all. They basically work together for like 1 issue. He hands her off to a girl, and they don't see each other again till the end of part 5. They also see appearance by the Parliament of Trees. Yep, who also make appearance in here with sort of their rebirth, because apparently they mentioned the Parliament of Trees they actually were burned down, but basically built new ones. Yep. In here, basically, they appear at the end of issue 5, and they basically, despite the fact that Swamp Thing does trust John Constantine, yeah, their trust goes as far back as John Constantine's first appearance, which was actually back in the Swamp Thing title, back in the 80s. When Alan Moore first created John Constantine, he appeared in an issue of Swamp Thing. I don't remember, I think it was like issue 30, I think it was his first appearance of Swamp Thing Volume 2. Yep, the whole thing with this storyline is just, well, finding some random stuff. There's a woman named Mercury, which Swamp Thing basically, well, John Constantine introduced her to him and to Swamp Thing, and the whole purpose of his point of this thing is to find his wife Abigail, which he does in here too. Yep. So it's kind of continuing a loose end from the end of the Swamp Thing ongoing series, which ended just prior to this book starting, like a year prior. And after this, after issue 5, Swamp Thing doesn't really appear that much after this. Between this and appearing in Justice League Dark, yeah, his appearances are very scarce. He also appeared in the Superman annual that came up the same month as issue 5. Yep. And then pretty much after that, he appeared in Batman number 23. Excuse me. Which I have reviewed that. He also appeared in at least 2 issues of Dark Knight's Metal issues 2 and 6. Let's see, between issues 2 and 6, he also appeared in his own winter special, Wild Hunt, Dark Knight's Rising. Wild Hunt, it's a one-shot collected in Dark Knight's Rising. It's a trade. An issue of Green Lanterns, Young Monsters, where he basically is trying to start a relationship with the Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, if you've ever seen the cover of that issue, it's one of the most weirdest stories. And the artwork is done by Kelly Jones. Yep. And yeah, after Dark Knight's Metal number 6, he appears for like 1 issue of Damage, which, by the way, that issue came up the same week that Weapon H fought Man-Thing. The same week. And then he appeared a couple issues of Justice League, and then he got, well, appearing in Justice League Dark, which he's still appearing to this very day, while also occasionally appearing in other books, like, well, appeared in Terrific, appeared in Wonder Woman as part of a crossover called Witching Hour, appeared in the issue of Heroes for Crisis, the Curse of Ransom Annual, an issue of Doomsday Clock, DC Universe Special, and that's really, he's basically, his appearances have been very scarce the past couple of years. Yep. Does John Constantine find what he's looking for at the end? Yes. We also see appearance by his old friend Chaz Chandler. Yeah, those remember him from the Constantine TV show. Yeah, he shows up here as well. And no, he looks nothing like the actor who produced him on the TV show. Thank you God for that. Yep. Now, I at least gotta praise the fact Simon Oliver made the story interesting. And the fact the artwork is done by, the entirety of the book is done by one artist. It's, well, mainly done by Marat, with our code done by Paga Guerrera, Jose Marta Jr. The cover art here is done by Morted with Paul Mountis and John Cassidy. Yep. Now, at least gotta praise the fact they actually give John Constantine's credit to his creators. Alan Moore, Steve Bessie, John Talbot and James Delto and John Rigby. James Delto actually did a lot of basically the reason why they credit him as creator of John Constantine because he did a lot with the character when he was writing him on the Hellblazer title. That's the only reason why I can think of that they included him as basically the writer. Yeah, but this storyline is really good. It sets up the next arc, the ending of it, and I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Oh, I give this one too. Though here's something really weird about this particular title. After the next arc, Simon Oliver leaves the book. As far as I know, in case you wonder, was there any articles basically that was coming out that he just left, that he announced the reason he left the book? Nope, they just changed writers without any announcement, changed out Tim Seeley for some reason, and then he left after a few issues, and then they handed the book off to a different writer for a few issues, and then Tim Seeley came back to the book for the last few issues of the series. And here's the thing about Tim Seeley when he wrote the book. He basically had it where John Constantine interacted with DC superheroes, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that way. Simon Oliver wrote the book. It felt like, though, you could read this as a regular issue of the Hellblazer book published by Vertigo, though this book is actually censored, basically, to foul language, but that's the way Simon Oliver writes this. Basically, like just another John Constantine comic book, which is fine, and I'm pretty sure DC tried to give him an ongoing series, but after the series ended, he did pretty much almost Jack frickin' squat. I think he appeared in a few other books after this. Right now, he's appearing as a supporting character in the pages of Just Like Dark, but not as a member of the team. I spoke to James Tynion about this. He does have plans for him in the Just Like Dark title, but as far as I know, there's no plans to give an ongoing series again. I mean, I personally wouldn't mind it at all. I mean, he's a great character. He basically can hold his own in an ongoing series. I mean, when the series ended last year, it ended a 31-issue publication period for the character. Yes, for 31 years, this character, John Constantine, had a title published. First, you have the Hellblazer title, which ended back in, I believe, was 2013. It started in 1988, was the same year I was born, and it ended in issue 300 in 2013. It was replaced with the Constantine title done by Ray Fox, which lasted for 24 issues. And then after that book ended, got replaced with Constantine the Hellblazer. But this book managed to last for 13 issues, and then the book got replaced, relaunched again. They dropped the name Constantine from the book and called it simply the Hellblazer. And this was the last book published. Once this book ended, like I said, ended 31 years of John Constantine having a comic book. Yep, 3 decades of him having a comic book. And then just ends. 30 years of publication for this character, and now he doesn't have a book anymore. Swamp Thing hasn't had a book since, like, he had a mini series published in 27 I believe it was 2015. I believe it was written by Lean Ween, and the artwork was done by Kelly Jones, same creative team who did his Convergence mini series. And the Winter Special, which came out about 2 years ago, that was the last thing solo-wise for Swamp Thing, because all Swamp Thing has done the past 3 years, like after he appeared in this storyline, he just appears like he just basically became a guest star, appearing cameos, or at least become part of a story. That's basically all Swamp Thing has done. You know, I got this because I really want to talk about Swamp Thing. And plus, I love John Constantine. I've never actually read anything related to him before, but yeah. Now, in case somebody might ask, though, am I planning on reviewing the Hellblazer comic book, the original one? I have no media plans to review it, nor do I have any plans to review the trades. I mean, I am planning on reviewing the rest of this particular series, definitely, but that just depends on if I get my hands in the trades or not, okay? So yes, that's the end of this particular video. I have 3 more videos coming today. The next one I'm going to talk about stuff related to Venom. There'll be a comic corner. There will be manga reviews, newest chapter of Gintama, and One Punch Man. You'll get a chance to hear my thoughts on those stuff soon. Okay? Produce next video. Bye.